our businesses are built around our marketing and vice versa. Our marketing is built around our businesses.
And so, is there now a different process, or from what I understand, yours is so just generally authentic to the person, right? Like, there's no longer there's maybe your process, but there's not a playbook.
Right.
Is that how you operate when you're sort of approaching people and helping them figure this out?
Yeah, it's interesting because when I'm working with someone, they're coming to me because they're like, okay, what else is there? What's next for me? And so, but we have a hard time seeing ourselves through our own eyes, like really objectively and creatively. Sometimes we can have a lot of ideas, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we know what to do with those ideas or how to prioritize. And so, one of the things I do is I work so organically. Some people might think like, is she just pulling this out of her, you know what? But I use 5 pillars of business that really are just a container, and I can kind of move around that entire container. Um, and what I do with it, so the 5 pillars are like your business model. How are things set up to serve you and your clients? It's how are you positioned as a thought leader, which is really important for your viewers and your clients. And
Exactly.
your authors. How do you market yourself as a thought leader? How do you sell? How do you sell? So it's like what's packaged around your expertise. How is that packaged? And then how do you sell that? And then there's always mindset, and that's the 5th pillar. So, but all of this, like even though those are strategic, masculine things in a sense, it's just like we're out here forming the container. Now, what's the heart of this? What's a way for you to build and create products and services that aren't like, okay, you need to scale, you need to create a
Right.
program, you need to do evergreen. You like instead of it being like this forceful, everybody needs to scale type of thing, it doesn't always work that way for people. And I think, we can fall under the spell of, yes, I absolutely need a course so I can make money while I sleep. But not everybody's that's just not it doesn't work for the majority. Let's start there. Um,
It's such a relief to hear you say that. I mean, I hope for other people who are either listening or will listen is that is so refreshing. I mean, it's just so freeing to hear you say that there's not the one right way, and this is the only way you can do it.
well, and it creates a lot of tentacles and effects that really don't do us a disservice. So one is you lose time and money. Like I think everybody should try, experiment hopefully with the right things at the right time. But if somebody's like, I have to scale in this way by creating a course, for example,
Right.
um, then it doesn't work, and they feel like they did a whole bunch of things that didn't feel good in the process, and they're like, I'm broken. You know what? You are not broken. The idea that was projected on you that in order to build a business you must scale and you must create courses, that's what's broken.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to break that record of projecting what you should want and what you should do and what makes you a worthy business person, and instead say, no, what makes sense for you? If it's a course, that's great, but let's do it the right way, in a way that's really true to you and compelling to the people who want it
Right.
instead of. And so I just really think there's a lot of, I just watch all these launches about course creation and I just go, okay, I've been there.
Right.
I've done it. And that's only
And
one
it's so
example.
easy. Anybody can do it.
Of course. And you know what? You are just going to wake up to an inbox full of orders every morning.
And
It's
you're
going to be
exactly.
amazing.
But
So, yeah,
I
it's
had a
really, I think it's so tough for people to get out of that trap.
yeah.
Because they don't see it. They don't
Yeah.
see it.
Well, I had a micro version of that conversation actually with somebody that and we were talking literally about social media, and she was like, "I hate it. I don't want to do it. It's that it's an emotional issue. And I just said, then why are we talking about it? Right.
Don't do
I
it.
said, you have an amazing website. You have a booming business. You know what you're doing. Let's go back to like, some of those fundamental business basics. And I think she was a little disappointed. And I would be curious if you have that same experience where somebody comes in and they're like, this is what I have to do. And you sort of turn around and say to them, actually, no, it's not what's probably best for you. And they're like, but wait, you were supposed to help me with this. And I said, I can help you, but we're not going in that direction. It doesn't, you won't be happy.
Yeah. It's always a conversation. So there's never there's enough projecting that's done on us all freaking day long and all of our lives. So I'm not going to project this is what you should do or shouldn't do. What I find very important is really understanding, if I were talking to that woman who's like, social media is just traumatic for me, I'd be like, okay, well, why is that? And what's worked for you in the past? And, what if we did social this way? And so instead of just saying no social, it'd be like, well, if it were done this way, would that be any different? And so it's not just, it's a conversation.
Right.
And I really feel like one of my superpowers is asking questions and just being curious without an agenda, so that the person who I'm dealing with feels very heard. Because here's the bottom line. We have done so many things because we should do them. And then we feel really crappy about ourselves when it doesn't work, or it doesn't work as well as we wanted, or whatever. We think we're broken. And really that stuff is projected on us in the first place. And we're made to feel like that's part of this machine. I call it the XY economy. That's part of the machine of really continuing to make you feel like you're less than, or that you're never going to make it if you don't follow exactly what I do as the expert or the guru. Right. And so I think it's really important. I talk about the XO economy, which is an economy of coming at it from what is my value in what I can do and what feels true to me.